4060 Ti 16 gigabyte just released. Worth buying. Let's have a chat about it. Computer Games Hardware. Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the video. Hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to have a little chat about Nvidia launching their RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte variant, which has been an interesting little card to be released. Is it any good? Does it perform well? Let's have a chat about it. So the card didn't launch to very much fanfare. There were no review samples, there was no review program, and most of the TechTuber reviewers didn't get a copy of it. Well, no one did. There is a couple of reviews. There's one review as so far I can see. I've seen a review from Steve from Hardware Unbox, and I've checked out the Tech Power Up review, so go check out those videos if you want to learn more about the RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte version. So interesting that Nvidia decided not to have a review program for this card. Makes you wonder why, and some of the reviews haven't been great. The Hardware Unbox weren't too hot on this model, and there's a couple of reasons for that. This card is identical to the 8GB version of the RTX 4060 Ti, and that means that it's got the same issues as that card, except it's got more memory. So that is not a bad thing. So the increased memory means that it's a better purchase option than the 8GB card by miles and miles. You'll be able to play and stream games. So a lot of people, I'm running a card with 16 gigabytes, and that's what you'd expect for the mid-range in this generation of GPUs. 12, okay, maybe, it wasn't that long ago that some of our flagship cards were running with 10 gigabytes, so looking at you, the 3080. But today's modern games require a lot more VRAM than that, and it probably shows where there's stutters and jitters in most graphics cards with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. The RTX 4060 would fix that problem. So it's got enough of a buffer there to really be able to play most modern games. So that's a positive, but also remembering it still comes with all the drawbacks of the 8GB version. So it's still got a 128-bit bus. It's got a different, I believe that the PCB had to be redesigned a little bit to accommodate the extra memory modules. So they all don't go on the top side of the PCB. To accommodate the extra models, they had to re-engineer it, and they've put half of those modules on the back. I believe it's called the clamshell method. Hardware Unbox spoke to that. I hadn't heard that before, but that's what they called it. So it looks like a little clamshell, I guess. So yep, they've had to stitch a few memory modules on the back of it, and it seems to have fixed some of the performance issues. So where games were running out of VRAM during some sustained gameplay and causing spot-ins and texture dropouts and all those kind of things, the 16 gigabyte version maintains that, but there is a massive issue with this card. And again, like most things, it comes down to the price. So this thing, often tech tubers talk about the US price. So talking about $100 premium over the 4060 Ti 8GB version. So $100 more for an extra 8GB of RAM, and I'm just lost for words. So in the US, you're talking about $400 and $500 respectively, but let me tell you what that means for Australian consumers. Okay, so looking up one of my favorites, we're looking at the PC case gear, right? And you go through and you look at some of the prices of these graphic cards. The Asus ROG Strix GeForce 4060 Gaming OC 16GB card is $1,000. $1,000 for that card, right? MSI's Gaming X Slim White is $939. Asus is offering the Pro Art OC is $929 for a 4060 Ti. Do you know what that means? You can buy a 7900 XT for $1,200. So for a couple of $100 more, you can get AMD's flagship. Have Nvidia lost their minds? Who is going to spend $1,000 on a 4060 class card? That is absolute lunacy. Now, I know $500 might seem reasonable for a US market, but $1,000 in Australia for a 4060 Ti, that is insane. No one should be buying $1,000 mid-range 4060 Ti with 128-bit memory bus. It is just an absolute joke. You can buy, I would prefer to spend $570 on the Intel A770 graphics card than spend that money. Still expensive in Australia. $570 for the Intel Arc card. $1,000 for the 4060 Ti? Are you kidding me? Like, what universe are we living in? How is it possible that this card can be so expensive? I'm just lost for words. In some games, the 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte card does not improve the performance as well. It improves stuttering. It improves stuff like pop out and texture streaming and stuff like that. But you haven't got the FPS boost from having the 16 gigabyte card. For $1,000, that is insane. Games have already well been beyond 8 gigabytes of VRAM. You could get 8 gigabytes of VRAM in the the 10 series, the 480. So we're going back years and years and years. So graphics cards with 8 gigabyte of VRAM have well and truly had their time in the sun. Sure, there's heaps of applications for them, so if you have one, don't feel like I'm taking a dump on you or whatever the case is. If you don't play that many games with that need higher around VRAM, there's no need for you to go and upgrade. But what we're talking about is new cards here. So remembering that you could get 8 gigabit you could get 8 gigabits of memory on like Radeon 480s and the 10,000 series of NVIDIA GPUs. So, that's going back some years now. It's time in the mid-range to get what we need. So 12 to 16 gigabytes is reasonable for these cards now. It's just ludicrous. And at this price, no one should be buying this at all. It's just ludicrous. Sorry, I can't believe this. Like, I start to ramble when like I start getting annoyed at things. So if you see a few extra cuts in this video, excuse me, but it just boggles my mind that at this day and age that we're paying $1,000. And what's crazy about this is that you're not getting much more performance. Looking through some of the titles like Forza Horizon 5, Cyberpunk, Resident Evil, you're getting relatively the same frames per second. So while your experience might be a little better, you're paying $1,000 for some better textures, some smoother gameplay experience. You're not getting any more frames. The other disappointing thing about this is that the mid-range has been MIA for this whole generation. So AMD still doesn't have an answer for you if you don't want to buy $1,000 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte version, because the 7800 XT and the 7800s aren't out yet, and I would certainly be buying them over this card because they're the class above and they're not going to cost you $1,000. So this is crazy. What do you think? How much VRAM do you think your graphics card should have in 2023? I think it's way more than what NVIDIA is offering, and I would be worried about buying one of these cards, especially at $1,000. There's no features that those graphics cards have that warrant them being $1,000. I can assure you that. So stick to your current GPUs. Slap some more thermal paste on them. Change the change the memory pads and stuff like that, the thermal pads, and just enjoy what you've already got. We can probably sit out until the next generation if that's what the mid-range is coming. And I think NVIDIA know that. Their AIB certainly know that. There hasn't been much fanfare around any of this stuff. So, I mean, it's just getting a bit of a joke. Being a PC enthusiast is getting harder and harder. So there you have it. What you've got is a card that you're spending $1,000 on to stave off the issues that its little brother has with its piddly 8 gigabytes of VRAM. So you're just staving off texture pop-in, stutter, and all those kind of things. And you're paying a massive premium for it. So look out. Really do your research before you put your money down. The NVIDIA and the AIBs are not willing to show you the performance of this card, so that should give you the red flags in the first place. So don't just part with your money willy-nilly. Look, the 16 gigabytes of VRAM will last a fair while, remembering you've got DLSS and all those frame generation things. So you'll get some okay performance out there, but how much are you willing to pay for that? Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hello to all our new subscribers. Thanks for joining in on the conversation. If there is anything that you want to see me do, or any video ideas that you'd like to make, please let me know in the comments down below. And hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.